Coffins are mostly associated with death, and for millennia the wooden boxes have been used in processions for kings and queens taken from their site of death to the place of their burial. People line the streets to pay their respects, and they are a sign that it is time for the body to be placed either into the ground or to be dealt with. Seeing the coffin of a loved one can be incredibly harrowing and heartbreaking, as people know who is inside of it. But there was an incredibly legendary and famous French actress who was known for being a bit out there, and she used coffins as a way of preparing for dramatic roles, and for her, these coffins represented something deeper. She slept in a coffin like a regular bed, and even took it around with her when she travelled. There are even rumours that she took her lovers into the boxes of death, and, let's say, had a good time with them inside of them. But why was one of Europe's most successful actresses obsessed with coffins? To support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. Sarah Bernhardt was born in Henriette Rosine Bernard on October 22nd, 1844, in Paris. Her background was unconventional. Her mother was a courtesan of Dutch Jewish descent, and her father's identity remains uncertain, though it is believed he was wealthy. Because her mother was often busy with her social life, Sarah spent much of her early years being cared for by others. As a child, Sarah was sensitive and imaginative. When she was about 10, she was sent to a convent school, and there she began to show an interest in drama. At first, she considered becoming a nun, but her family's connections and her own dramatic personality led her elsewhere. Through her mother's influence, Sarah entered the Conservatoire de Paris, the country's most prestigious drama school, in 1859. She studied acting seriously and quickly developed a talent for tragic roles. By the time she left, she was ready to take on to the Parisian stage. In 1862, Bernhardt made her stage debut at the Comédie Française, one of France's great national theatres. However, her early career was not smooth. Critics were not impressed at first, and Sarah herself was fiery and temperamental. She clashed with other actors and even once slapped a fellow actress during a quarrel. After leaving the Comédie Française, she struggled for a few years, performing in smaller theatres, but Bernhardt refused to give up. Her big breakthrough came in the 1870s when she joined the Odeon Theatre, where her acting began to attract some serious attention. The turning point in Bernhardt's career came with her performance in Phèdre in 1874, a French classical tragedy by Racine. Her portrayal of the doomed queen electrified audiences. Critics praised her intensity, her unique voice, described as golden and slightly husky, and her emotional range. From then on, Bernhardt was unstoppable. She took on a wide variety of roles, often playing tragic heroines, Camille in La Dame as Camillas by Alexandre Dumas, Marguerite in forced and even male roles such as Hamlet. Her willingness to play men was unusual for the time, but Sarah enjoyed the challenge and believed that talent was more important than gender. She became a member of the Comédie Française once again and was soon regarded as the leading actress of her generation. Her fame spread beyond France. By the late 19th century, Sarah was not just a French star, she was a global sensation. She toured across Europe, the United States, South America, and even Australia. Wherever she went, theatres were packed with people eager to see her perform. In America, she was received with wild enthusiasm. She performed in both French and English, though her accent was thick. Audiences did not mind. They were fascinated simply to be in her presence. Newspapers followed her every move, and she became a true celebrity long before Hollywood stars existed. Bernhardt was also very aware of her image. She had photographs and posters made of herself, often in striking poses. The famous Art Nouveau artist Alphonse Mucha created some of the most beautiful theatre posters of her, which helped turn her into a style icon. Part of Sarah's fame came not only from her talent but from her personality. She was bold, eccentric, and loved to shock people. She often wore dramatic clothes and lived with a pet menagerie that included a lion, a cheetah, and even an alligator. She once famously slept in a coffin, saying it helped her prepare for tragic roles. Writers, painters, and musicians adored her. Victor Hugo praised her beauty, while artists like George Clarin painted her portrait. Bernhardt became a muse to many creative figures of the 19th century, and she also knew how to handle scandals. She had affairs with princes, artists, and politicians, and she never apologised for living on her own terms. This freedom, combined with her genius, made her irresistible to the public. Now, the coffins. One of the best-known photographs of Sarah shows her lying in a coffin with her arms folded onto her chest. According to rumours, she ordered a coffin for her exact measurements, and she then slept in it like a regular bed. Now, these rumours were picked up by the press. When she was asked about the reason for it, she told the press that she used the coffin to mentally prepare for playing a character who was dying on stage. She also said this was a way of dealing with the fear she had about premature burial. She spent a huge amount of money on these coffins and also decorated them with the most expensive silk, lace, and ordered flowers, but the coffins could also have been a clever publicity stunt to ensure she became even more famous. There were even rumours that she slept with men inside of the coffin. Sarah wrote about the coffin that, "I ordered my first coffin from a dear old carpenter in Belleville. At first I used it as an item of furniture, likely to attract attention and become a talking point. Then, after another brainwave, I had it fitted with a velvet lining, claimed falsely that I slept in it, and when asked for a reason, I came out with the absurd explanation that when I had to die on stage, I slept in the sarcophagus to put me in the mood. I was amazed at how people swallowed that crazy notion. The first time I tried to sleep in it, as a dare, I was uncomfortable and had to move to a proper bed in the middle of the night. Later, when my poor Jeanne was dying and I got her moved to my rather small apartment so I could care for her, I did place the pine box beside her bed and slept there, but I did this out of necessity. My room was too small for two beds, and I wanted to be able to attend to her when she woke up in the middle of the night. I lugged the coffin all over the world, as I never travel with less than 60 suitcases, again something quite unnecessary, but which has enhanced my reputation for extravagance and eccentricity. I thought that I might as well bring my menagerie and the box. This kept the press of the world fascinated and amused, and I'm mighty glad it did." As mentioned, she later documented the story in which she took a Spanish lover into her coffin and they made love, and about this she claimed, "Amazingly, we fitted into the coffin quite well." In her final years, Sarah Bernhardt remained active despite her health problems. She performed, gave lectures, and enjoyed the admiration of younger generations of actors and artists. She died on March 26, 1923, at the age of 78 in Paris. Her funeral was a massive event. Tens of thousands of people lined the streets to pay their respects as her coffin was carried to the cemetery of Père-Lachaise. Sarah Bernhardt lived a life as dramatic as the roles she played. From a difficult childhood to international fame, from sleeping in a coffin to performing with one leg, she turned every challenge into theatre. She was the first great modern star, a woman who understood how to blend talent, personality, and image into a powerful legend. Even now, more than a century after her death, Sarah Bernhardt remains the shining example of what it means to be a true diva on the stage. Thank you for watching, and to support our channel, please make sure to subscribe. And once again, thank you so much for watching.